This is Polly Balint with Cherokee Talk on Grace Radio, and I'm happy to be here today. And I have two wonderful guests, two amazing couple. It's the Fountains. It's Brant and Julie. Hello, Brant.
Hey, how are you?
Hey, Julie.
Hi.
So, what's happening? We wanted to talk about what you're in your 20s and you've got a lot of under your belt as far as serving Jesus and doing things. I heard about Global Year. What is that?
Yeah, so for the past, I guess going back to when we did a Global Year, it's been 7 years. We did a Global Year when we had graduated high school, and a Global Year is basically a gap year opportunity after you graduate high school to spend a year abroad in a foreign country. You learn the language, you're discipled, and you're mentored in the Bible and Christian education and missions. You share the gospel in that area, and one of the main things is you are immersed into the culture. So during your year, you learn the language, you're experiencing new things, meeting new people, and you go with a team of young people just like you. So we did that about 7 years ago.
How did you get connected to it? Global Year. Where is it?
Yeah, Global Year global headquarters, international, is in Woodstock, Georgia. The ministry began at First Baptist Church Woodstock, and we got connected to it from the founder's son and my friend. They knew each other, and the founder's son told my friend about the opportunity. And then I heard about it, and I was sold. I had done 2 years in college, had no idea what I wanted to do in life. I took all the career aptitude tests, and it was the same across the board. And I was just kind of, lost, in what I wanted to do. So heard about it, and I was like, yes, spend a year in Costa Rica learning Spanish, ministering to people, and growing my faith. So that's how we got connected.
So how many people usually go in a group when you go to another country?
We have anywhere between as low as 1 or 2. 1 is not obviously a group, but that's a special case. 2 happens not as often, but the average group, I would say, is 6 to 10. We also have locations where we send up to 25 students.
Boys and girls.
Yeah, boys and girls. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's right.
So you all were married when you joined it, or you were doing it before you got married?
When we went on our Global Year in Costa Rica, we were not married. I had just graduated high school. Brant had told me about it. We were good friends, and I didn't know what I wanted to do with my life yet, so I took this year. And we got married when we got home from that year.
That sealed it.
Yeah, that sealed the deal.
That's right.
And then we came on staff about 6 or maybe 9 months after we got married.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So it's still headquartered in First Baptist Woodstock?
No, we have an office building here in Woodstock, right across from Etowah High School. So that's where we are currently. We use the facilities a lot at First Baptist Woodstock because Johnny Hunt, the pastor, is one of our main supporters.
So how do you find the students how do you recruit them, or how do you find them?
God finds them, that's for sure. They're kids coming out of the woodworks, man. We have people from Podunk, Nowheresville, Louisiana, who don't even own a computer, but they apply and,
It's a lot of word of mouth.
A lot of word of mouth, yeah. A lot of word of mouth, mainly.
We try to speak at a lot of school events, FCAs, youth events, and we do a couple of conferences a year.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we get a lot of students from conferences.
Where are your conferences held?
I'm trying to think. We have conferences in Tennessee, South Carolina, South Georgia, Florida.
Anywhere we can get
Missouri.
in to set up a booth, like a youth camp or summer camp.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, anything like that, yeah.
That's an amazing opportunity.
Yeah,
especially for a high school senior that doesn't know what, like you both said, you didn't know what you want to do.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then you go with your peers to another country, learn, and are you're discipled and you learn a language.
Right.
That's
You know, the generation nowadays is the whole reason this got started is because the founder was a youth pastor. He saw his youth graduating high school, going to college, and leaving the faith. You know, leaving the church, leaving the faith, and he had 30 years to see it all pan out. And it's not like, you know, half of them came back to church. Most of them never, you know, darkened the doors of a church again. And so it's not all about church, but he saw how his youth needed to experience Christ right before college to give them a foundation. So it's an incredible opportunity. And you know what? When are you more free, more available to go and do something like a gap year, a global year, you know, other than right after high school? So
that seems like a perfect time because you're done with the homework stuff and the high school stuff, but you're...
And it actually looks really good on college applications. It's not a deterrent to college at all. It looks really good on your applications.
Yeah, we have a student who went to South Africa with us, and he came back and applied to go to the University of Florida, which is very difficult to get into. He got accepted, and there was a little note on his acceptance that said, we accepted you because you took a year off and served in another country. And that's a story across the board. A lot of Ivy League schools are now requiring that their freshmen take a year off and just do something because it matures them so much. So,
I would imagine going to another country matures you a whole lot.
Yeah.
absolutely, yeah.
Learning the language helps too. That looks good on your college applications, and you can test out of a good bit of it.
What do you think about the 20-somethings and instant gratification and going to another country and coming back? What does it do?
Oh, yeah. I don't know, man. A lot. That's for sure. It did a lot for me. You know, we both did our global years, and I was just like all of them. You know, still struggle with it sometimes, but man, I'd do my work. You know, come home, watch 4 or 5 hours of TV. You know, watch the Braves game every night, and just kind of waste my life. You know, I don't know. I just, you know, I was a believer. I read my Bible. I thought I was the example, you know, Christ follower. But it wasn't until I went to Costa Rica and realized what's really worth spending your time on, and it's the Word of God. It's fellowship with other believers. It's serving others. So yeah, I mean, a message to the 20-somethings would be, you know, just try a little bit harder to really seek out what is what's valuable, what's truly meaningful in life, and you'll be eternally grateful that you know took that step of faith by serving others. So.
It's you get the blessings of all the things that money can't buy.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And that's for eternity.
Yeah.
Yes, that's amazing. Well, so you've been married 5 years?
5.5. It'll be 6 in January.
And so, where have you traveled with Global Year? You said Costa Rica.
Well, we did our Global Year in Costa Rica. We left about 7 years ago, and then we've spent 2 months in South Africa serving with Global Year, and then about 2 years in El Salvador serving, and that's been our long-term trips. But we've traveled several places, several places for just a week or two, such as Peru, and then all down Latin America, Mexico, Panama.
I think
we've driven all the way from Mexico to Panama, so
right, pretty much.
we've been to all of them.
Yeah,
that's amazing. So you have a lot of experiences that most people your age don't have. You have a lot to share, and that's what you're trying to say now.
Yeah, and you know, it makes me think about the wanderers out there, the 20-something wanderers who it's almost like they're searching for significance. They're searching to be shocking. It's like, how can I dress? How can I travel? How can I live a life that's shocking, that
sets them apart,
that makes them special? And it's like, there's not significance in just doing it. There's not significance in just taking selfies, as you road trip to California and, sit on the beach and you're like pondering life. There's no eternal value in that. The only eternal value is serving Christ. And so, there's no boasting in where we've been. It's boasting in how Christ has moved in our life to serve others in areas where they're searching for things that just to keep them alive. Mm-hmm. When we were serving in El Salvador, we had the chance to meet a lady and her two daughters. Her husband had just left them. He was committing adultery. This woman had no job, two girls, and very poor. And her name was Georgina. We befriended her and learned that her husband had left her nothing, and actually had stolen things from her. And her girls were brokenhearted and were confused. And we had the opportunity just to love on her and help her move, literally her stuff, serve her by moving her stuff from one house to another, by bringing her to church, because she couldn't pay 25 cents per person to get on the bus and go to church. She wanted to, but she couldn't pay that. And so it's like, there's not significance in just wandering around, taking selfies and, just trying to project yourself on social media as cool and relative and things like that. So anyways, I guess that's my soapbox on 20-something wonders.
Yeah. Well, you have some stories about some of the youth that have been on trips, some amazing stories from different countries, or while they were there, or when they on their way back. Can you think of anything?
Yeah. One comes to mind. When we were in El Salvador, we had a student, sweet girl, Tiffany. She's right here from Woodstock. And while we were in our global year, I remember she was ministering, discipling this young lady, and the year was coming to a close, and we were doing some debrief before we came home. She was just sharing about her disciple. I forget what her name is, but she started just tearing up and started crying, brokenhearted that she would not get to see her disciple come to Christ. So basically, she was crying. She was just brokenhearted because she was leaving her global year without seeing this girl she had come to love surrender her life to Christ. And who knows? Who knows where that girl is now? And for instance, another girl we ministered with in El Salvador. She's from Marietta, Tanya. She enjoyed her year so much. She came back as an intern the second year. And
the third year.
And the third year she came back as a student life director, co-director. And now she's on staff with Global Year. She's 21, 22.
That's great.
And
you're multiplying.
Yeah, exactly. And Tiffany, who I just shared about, she did another year, wanted to get her Spanish, down a little bit better. So she went to the Dominican Republic for another year. She came back, got married to a Dominican, and now she's in the Dominican serving with Global Year. She's gonna be discipling our students. So
that's amazing.
Yeah.
See, it's the fruit. It's God's fruit.
Absolutely.
So when you have debriefing, you mentioned debriefing. Why do you have to do that?
Oh man.
It's
culture
really
shock?
hard to come back home. Yes, reverse culture shock is what we call it when you come back to the States. You've been living without your cell phone, without your car, in a lot more poverty-stricken areas. And so coming back, I know it was overwhelming just walking into the grocery store and just seeing so much. Just tearing up thinking, wow, if only these people where I just were had this stuff, which is probably a good thing they don't. They live so much simpler than we do. But just to help our students get acclimated back to the culture in the States, and also to process everything that they went through the year before, spiritual things, emotional things, anything like that.
Yeah.
We take a lot for granted, don't we,
absolutely.
in America?
Yeah, absolutely. And that's the thing is, I guess if you live and die, you never travel to another country and serve others and get to know them, not just voluntourism, but go and actually serve others and get to know them and their families. And you go into their homes. You'll never quite understand how blessed we are, and so here in America, and so to go and really surrender what you would think is comfortable and exciting and fun, living here in the States and serve others in another country for Christ is a life-changing experience that you'll never experience anywhere else. Mm-hmm. And so yeah, I mean, getting out of America, there's so much more than America. So yeah, absolutely.
How can somebody find out more about Global Year if there's somebody listening that has a son or a daughter or a granddaughter or a grandson that's about to graduate? How can they just Google Global Year Woodstock, Georgia, or is there a way that they can find?
Yeah. Google Global Year. I mean, it's as simple as that. Will be the first one that pops up. Our website's globalyear.org.
They can just ask questions. I mean, it's not a commitment for them to do that, but they can just want to know more.
Yep.
Our staff loves meeting prospective students and parents and sitting down with them one-on-one. It's very personable. It's a small organization, so anyone with questions is welcome to call anytime, email anyone, and we'll be happy to chat with you.
That's great. So you would recommend Global Year?
Yes. What we like to say is it's the best year of your life, but it's also the hardest year of your life.
So it stretches you.
Oh, yeah.
But that's a good thing.
Our president, the founder, Johnny Congery, he talks a lot about that it's God's intention to kill you that year, to kill everything that is you and just leave it until it's just Christ remaining.
Die to self. That's amazing. So you had children go with you, your children go with you El Salvador. How was that?
It was great. It was fantastic. We left for El Salvador when our oldest son was 6 months old, and we came home from there when he was 2. So he had a lot of firsts there. He first started crawling, walking, talking. He was speaking a lot more Spanish than he was English.
Really?
Oh, yeah. He got the lady and her daughters that Brant had mentioned, Georgina. We actually started paying her to come into our home, more of a ministry than anything else. And she would watch Asher while I went and took Spanish classes. And that family has just the deepest bond with Asher. I hate that Asher, he's 3 now. He doesn't quite remember them. Mm-hmm. But they had a lasting impact on us for sure. And I know Asher did on them.
Yeah, I would prefer, personally, to be raising our kids on the mission field, just in another culture. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
There's difficulties, but there's a lot of pros where, where you're not...
Well, it's simpler life.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
There's not so many distractions, and because life is simpler, they have less. No distractions from Jesus, and
that's right.
Yeah, that's amazing. So do you both speak fluent Spanish?
Sí.
We are conversationally fluent.
So you can do ministry here in America with the Hispanics.
Yep.
And they're not Americanized.
Well, no.
For the most part.
Yeah.
For the most part, they're not,
right.
And that's good.
Right. They hold very closely to their
culture,
to their Latino culture, and so it's really cool when you can just slowly get to know them and become a part of their life. You'll realize that they're living in America, but everything they do is either Mexican, Guatemalan, Spanish, or Panamanian or something like that. Yeah, absolutely. It's really valuable to meet and get yourself in the lives of Latinos in your area. So.
I don't know if this is true overall, but I've definitely found that when we're trying to reach the nations and you don't live abroad, that knowing another language and living in the States is a huge part of that, because we get to reach out to people who maybe don't speak great English or who even just don't want to open up, but once they see that you speak their language, they love it. Or even that you've lived in the country that they live in or lived in. We have a little biscuit barn by our house, and the ladies are Salvadorian.
Oh, wow.
And so we've gotten to talk with them and just talk about the food, really.
Yeah,
the food from El Salvador. But it builds a relationship, especially when you get to do it in their native tongue. They like that. It's really cool.
There's the famous food from El Salvador is the pupusaria, or the pupusa, and a pupusaria is where they make it. And there's a pupusaria down the road here in Woodstock with a sweet little lady from El Salvador.
Wow.
Who makes these pupusa. Pupusa is like it's like a cornmeal disc filled with
Like a tortilla?
like a
thick tortilla.
It's like a thick tortilla filled with cheese, beans, chorizo, herbs. Delicious. Served with some like red sauce. That's not the point of the story. The point of the story is, meeting her and saying, hey, where are you from? And I think she was from Santa Ana. And we know where that was.
El Salvador's a very small country.
Right. It's the size of Massachusetts, so, it's tiny. And, and speaking of Spanish, since we've been home, for instance, one time there was this guy riding his bike on the side of the road, and his name was Max. And I was able to just give him a ride and hear his story and help him out a little bit.
He didn't speak English at all.
No English at all. I mean, he could say work, because he needed some work. So he knew how to say work, but...
and he had lived here for 12 years in the States.
Really?
He had not learned any
Yeah,
English.
no English at all. And he's struggling in life, struggling with some addictions and poverty. He's homeless. So we were able to help him get a tent, get some food, get him some stuff, and obviously share the gospel.
So tell me, Christians don't have to go to another country to be missionaries, do they?
Not at all.
No. I mean, there are unreached people from hundreds of different cultural backgrounds here in Georgia. There's a few hundred just in Canton alone. Not huge groups, but you can reach the nations. Go down to Hartsfield-Jackson Airport. You'll see, you know what I'm saying? So, no, you don't have to be at all. You can be on mission wherever you are.
You can be in the grocery store and the checkout lines.
One of the biggest ways that you can be a missionary and you're not on the field is by supporting missionaries. That's how Brant and I have been supported for the past 5 years. It's just from mainly our friends and family who supported us financially on a monthly basis, and that enabled us to go and not have to worry about being a tent maker, so to speak. We didn't have a job in El Salvador besides missions, ministering.
Yeah. So giving, going, and prayer. Prayer is the third element, pray for the nations.
We had just been on staff with Global Year a couple of months when our first son was born 3 months early, and he passed away. And we had a good bit of our support raised financially, but more than that, those people were praying for us. So as soon as we started ministry, we had this tragedy happen in our lives, and I just thank God that He had already surrounded us with this support team that we know was praying for us.
Yeah.
Prayer is the foundation for everything for all of us.
That's right.
That's a gift from God to move mountains in our lives, to pray for other people. I totally agree with you. So people can, they can help by giving to missionaries. It's for real. And also praying. It makes a world of difference, doesn't it, in people's lives? I know it does.
Absolutely. We want to send out more students. We want to reach the nations with these students we're sending out. We're sending out students to currently 11 or 12 different countries. So, we're excited to send out more students. So please pray. Please give. So
Yes.
we can send more students.
Definitely. Well, Brant Julie Fountain, thank you so much for being on the show today. It's been a delight, and people start praying and start giving, and let's expand the kingdom for the glory of God.
Amen.
Yes,
Thanks, Paula.
thanks.
Thank you.